Hi, folks. Trisha Curtis, CEO of Petrons and host of the Petrons podcast. Today is January 22nd, 2025. It is Wednesday. We are 3 days into a Trump administration, Trump 2.0. There is a slug of executive orders to go through, and I went through these executive orders and everything happening within the oil market and really what this Trump administration means on unleashing American energy and American dominance, manufacturing, the gauntlet, you name it. I talk about this in episode 124 of the Petrons podcast, which I did with Jason Isaac. This is going to drop on Friday. This is a special Trump 2.0 inauguration episode. And the reason I'm doing this and we did this is because really, if you followed what's going on, the tariff stuff is still looming in the air. We have a lot of sanction stuff looming in the air. It looks like Trump is going to sanction Iran. Trump is going to sanction Venezuela. Trump is probably going to have to actually sanction and double down on sanction with Russia if they don't come to the table to make a deal. That being said, we have Saudi Arabia coming out and saying that they can increase output by 3 million barrels a day really quickly, like within weeks. So there are a lot of question marks I'm getting from clients, that I'm getting from everyone on the trajectory of oil prices. And I say you have to put some pins in it for a moment, because we have these massive $5 swings, or these decent $5 swings from last week to this week in oil prices, and all the stuff that people are, the simplicity of market pundits and analysts saying that, drill baby drill and we're going to have low oil prices. That's not what's really behind a lot of these executive orders. And you have to really read them and understand. And that's what we did within this this podcast, in this episode of 123, or 124, which is going to drop on Friday. That's what we talk about. This is about unleashing American energy. And this is far more broad and all-encompassing than just oil. This is about allowing to lower energy costs for the consumer through electricity. This is about getting more natural gas into the electricity pool. And this is about making sure we export more crude oil and more natural gas, and creating that dominance and leveraging this with geopolitics and making America a powerhouse for energy and preventing future wars. And you see this in this, one of the executive orders is unleashing Alaska's extraordinary energy potential. That talks about geopolitics. I encourage you to take a listen, but we talk about this within the podcast. Delivering emergency price relief for American families and defeating the cost of living crisis. That is about inflation. That is about lowering domestic utility bills because of the massive wind and solar that's been put into the grid and the decommissioning of coal. Putting America first in international environmental agreements. Executive order January 20th is one of the four that I'm mentioning. That is about us pulling out of the Paris Climate Accords, which I said Trump was going to do. Trump did it. It's a great move, and it makes America investable for oil and gas, especially as a developed world. That means that we're going to get the dollars that Europe is not attracting. And then another one is declaring a national energy emergency. This one is really interesting because this one is hard for the market to swallow, because the analysts have not read it. This is about, quote, the energy and critical minerals identification, leasing, development, production, transportation, refining, and generation capacity of the United States are far too inadequate to meet our nation's needs. This is about infrastructure. This is about more than it's not about just drilling more oil and gas and saying we need more oil and gas. This is about the actual infrastructure, the lowering energy costs, and making sure America is harnessing all this energy that we have to actually get it into the manufacturing, so that automobiles, manufacturers, everyone can use low-cost natural gas and reap the benefits of it, especially from a manufacturing perspective. So there's a lot more involved in this. We talk about this within this podcast, so I really encourage you guys to take a listen. I also want to say thank you guys for listening. The reviews of the last one were phenomenal. We had nearly 300 people just watch the last one, where I'm talking about higher oil prices, higher yields. There's clearly a massive demand for intel in this market, and folks that are clients of mine, folks that support the podcast, this is how we keep this information free and out in the market, and I really want to keep doing that. So I encourage you guys to reach out directly on the website at petrons.com. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. If you want to become a partner of Petrons and you want to support the podcast, reach out. I would love to make that happen. I'd love to make that work. And I am doing a lot of deep dives for clients, whether you are on a quarterly basis and we work together all year long, or whether you want something one-off. I'm more than happy to do that. So folks, thank you guys so much for listening, and talk to you soon. And make sure to listen to the latest Petrons podcast on higher oil prices, on higher yields. That's episode 123, because we are going to have 124 this episode with Jason Isaac with American Energy Institute. This is going to drop on Friday, on January 25th, and 2025. And then we are going to have episode 125 with Chris Atherton with EnergyNet. That's going to be an awesome special, and their new liquid markets, which is going to drop on Monday. So we have a lot in the queue, folks. Bye.